Hello everyone, this is Funny here, and this will be a new Let's Play, which is not currently a Let's Play, it's more like a Let's Read of a visual novel called Narcissu, or I don't know how to pronounce it. It's something to do is going to take a lot of reading. Basically, visual novel is reading with the graphics on it, something like that. It's produced by Stage Nana. There is a few selections you can do. You can load the game. I haven't beaten it yet. It's on unvoiced. There is the soundtrack you can actually listen to. I don't want to click anything because I don't want to get copyrighted for it. There is in-game tracks. One of it has might cause me to copyright. So let's get that started. You can choose from two games. One is the first one. This one is the second. I did some few research on the Wikipedia. It said that the second one's supposed to be like supposed to be like a prequel. I will start the first one. I don't think it matters which English translation you can choose. Normally, last time I did it on unvoiced. I think it depends on which has better grammar. I don't think it actually matters though. I'm gonna choose GP32. Voiced. This one is more interesting. Unvoiced is just basically you can just skim through it, but I'm gonna go with voiced this time. Voiced version. Yeah, I don't think I have actually chose this yet. But let's go for Prologue.
眩しかった日のこと。そんな冬の日のこと。
Okay. And this must be the leads of suicide from the July 20, 2004 police statistics on suicide. Spring 1996, Setsumi. Let me check the configurations. We don't want music a little too loud. Effects around a minimum, but usually I keep it around there. Hopefully you guys can actually hear me. So, here we go.
確かに幼い頃から丈夫な方じゃなかった。
Even so, I attended elementary school like all the others, and during summer breaks, I often played until I was utterly tanned. June. Shortly after my entry into middle school, the day after I'd ordered a swimsuit for use the next month, my first hospitalization. On a day just before the first semester midterms, on a day when the first drops of rain were so cruelly cold. Falling from a mist, the pure white of the overcast sky. Keep it around there. It's a little too loud though. Of course, the first time it happened, all my classmates came to visit me almost every day. Right here is good. And when I was released, they even came to my house on weekends to play. But that was only the first time around. Autumn into winter, winter into spring, a vicious cycle. Hospitalization, release, clinics, and hospitalization again. And before I knew it, even the classmates I once called friends turned into acquaintances, then into strangers. As if with every changing of seasons, I was being erased from their collective memory.
どうやらいい気がしないらしい。普通に生きている人にとって私の存在ってのは、だから消されたようだった。 節を、白い梅雨空を、誰とも言葉を交わす必要もなく過ごした。私の英語の教科書は、1年生の中間テスト以降、まっさらな状態だった。そこで、私の時間も止まったらしい。
My time seems to come to an end. So whenever I play the voice version, I usually don't talk over it. So yeah. Stage Nana, Volume 24. Early summer 2004. Protagonist 8 years later. Summer, flowing sweat. The gigantic electronic scoreboard in the driver's license examination facility lit up all at once. My eyes and everyone else's looked for our respected numbers. 237, 237. And of some 8 columns of lit text, sure enough, my examination number was shining in the midst. Oh yeah. This game, where I got it, it's from, you can get it for free on Steam. It's on early access. But I'm not really sure if it's actually worth it though, so I'm actually doing a let's play of it. A nearly empty train car, perhaps thanks to the beautiful afternoon. Almost alone in that train car, I was heading back home from the examination hall. My left hand held the new traffic regulations handbook, and my breast pocket held my brand new driver's license. So now I've got a license as well. I muttered somewhat happily, but there were no strong feelings behind it. I never particularly wanted to drive a car. I never particularly had any motive for it. It was just that my colleagues in the Technical Institute both recommended that I at least get a driver's license. That night, when I told my parents that I got my license, they merely replied with an "I see." And when I asked if I could borrow the car just for a test run, they instantly and curtly said just one thing: no. While I really didn't want to drive the car or anything, the response was all too expected. Those were my parents for you. The next day, I awoke with chest pain and went to the hospital. Excuse me. Sickness and I generally had nothing to do with each other, which is why I found the ER waiting room to be utterly boring. And just when I thought they were through examining me, they ordered an x-ray and some blood tests. Then they left. And again, I was left waiting for a long, long time. I'd already polished off 3 volumes of Shonen Jump, and was just about to start on the 4th when they admitted me to the hospital right then and there. And it seemed that my new license, which still lay snugly in my breast pocket, would have to wait a long time for its turn to come. Well, let me just save right here. I will finish that unvoiced later, while I can, on my free time. Right. Protagonist, Autumn 2004. Normally I should just end the recording there, but music will overlay like later. I think like if I stop in the middle of something. Right around when the all too noisy cicadas have finally got silent, I don't know how to pronounce it, sorry. I once again found myself in the hospital, as per usual. Of course, it wasn't as if I'd been there the entire time. I came and went, a futile cycle. My first surgery was a month before. After that, I started doing the 5-minute commute to and from the hospital by moped. And from then on, I was hospitalized, discharged, ordered to clinic, and hospitalized again and again and again. While I still had no clue what PET or ERISA stood for, in no time at all, several months had already passed. As my appetite decreased, my medications increased. I could feel my own physical strength atrophying away. I kept imagining that my legs were getting thinner. But the needle of the weight scale rudely informed me, it's not just your imagination, and yet I kept looking on at myself with detached interest, as if it were happening to somebody else entirely, as if I were looking at a scene on TV or the like. My mind could not grasp what had so suddenly happened to my body. Nothing within me was telling me what this was real at all, and that's why, even though it was all happening to me, I kept looking on as if it were happening to someone far away. Protagonist, Winter 2004. A day of winter, around when the Christmas trees had vanished from the streets. I was discharged home as a kind of year's end treat. It seemed like an exercise in total transcendence. I don't know, but still it made me slightly happy. Transcendence or something like that? I traveled back to a home I had not seen in a long time in the midst of a freezing rain. Strangely enough, my entire family was there. My parents, who had never so much as talked to me, came out to meet me, if with terribly stilted smiles, and my little sister, with whom I never had a pleasant word, had made my favorite cream stew and fried shrimp just for me. That's cute. They made me sit at the table. They peeled tangerines for me. They were cruelly kind. It was an impressive display. At this point, a little thought occurred to me about my new driver's license, which was still stuffed away in my pocket, that perhaps things would end for the license without ever having known any use. And surrounded by a trio of stilted, strained smiles, I kept that thought as if it were someone else's business, with dispassion, ambiguity, and total disinterest. January 2005. Protagonist, January 2005. A new year began, and I returned to the hospital. But on this day, instead of my usual 4F room, I ended up in the conference room sorts. They took me there. And then, my father and the doctors had a little talk. I joined in. Well, they talked to me. So this was their so-called announcement. They said in a terribly roundabout fashion, but they told me that I was going to die. I see. That was my only reply. I had no other words. It was the only thing that left my mouth from beginning to end. And the doctor's ballpoint pens flew across paper as if in response to my words. Those were probably hospice enrollment procedures, businesslike to the last. My father was the same. So it's this simple, was the only real thought I had. That day I was transferred from 4F to 7F, from a six-person room to a private room. Sorry, I'm a bit thirsty here. I think I need to pause the recording and do that. It was a little different from the other wards, this 7th floor. First of all, the floors were sparkling clean, and second of all, the ceiling was higher than I ever seen it. The rooms were very nice, and had large windows from which the warm daylight streamed in as if by design. But the windows only opened a little. I tested them out, and my head would just barely fit out of one. The color of my ID bracelet had changed as well. The bracelet that I had worn ever since that first hospitalization, the one that had my name and blood time recorded on it. Its color had now changed from blue to white. A high ceiling, a white Venco bracelet, a window that would not open more than 15 centimeters. The TV programs celebrating the New Year were still playing when I was transferred to this 7th floor. And it was at the dawn of that very year that I had met her for the first time.
Narcissus.
Narcissu? Narcissu. I think that's how you pronounce it.
7階
Winter 2005, 7th floor. Okay, hang on. I will be right back. Alright, I'm back. Let's get started. There was this place kind of like a lounge at one side of the corridor, across from the nurse's station. This generally deserted place held a few couches and chairs, as well as a large TV. Stupid programs commemorating the New Year were still being broadcast on that 28-inch screen, and there was a girl who looked absolutely bored watching that absolutely boring TV. Short, in pink pajamas, a white bracelet on her wrist, just like mine. Impressively long hair that almost reached down to her hips. Hey, do you find that interesting? There was no deep purpose in the asking. Simply, I had nothing else to do, so I started talking to her.
別に
Was her only reply to me. She didn't turn to face me at all. And she kept looking on with boredom at that TV as if I didn't even exist. Then don't watch it. Even as I thought this, I sat down in the chair next to her, and side by side, we watched TV. Nothing else to do. Nothing we could do. So we sat there silently and watched TV. New Year celebration programs, as per usual, a useless array of comedians and oddities. And every so often, the MC's stupid, shrill laughter resounding dryly in this white, sun-drenched lounge.
ねえ、あなた、
The girl suddenly started talking to me, but her eyes were as always glued to the TV screen.
あなた、何回目
What do you mean by that?
ここに7階に来たの。
Sorry, I have no clue what you're talking about.
そう、初めてなんだね。
So, she's seen my confusion about her question and come to the right conclusion.
じゃあ他に誰もいないし、私の役目だから。
Duty.
そういうルールなの。
Nodding slightly, she explained that the rule was that someone here, 7th floor, should tell newcomers the truth. I knew nothing. I understood even less. And as if I did not even exist, she slowly started her speech.
それじゃあよく聞いてね。
Her words, spoken methodically, one by one, were a little different from all the ones I heard from the doctors about this place. In their business-like, crisp syntaxes, they told me, this is a place where one waits for medical advances. This is a place where one heals one's heart, and perhaps they might have been correct in a general sense. But according to the girl, that was just the party line. The truth was that this 7th floor was the only place in the hospital where medical treatments did not take place. This was just a place where you waited for your life to come to an end. Those were her words to me. I thought so as well. I felt it even before she'd spoken.
私2回目だから。
Second time, doing what?
ここに来るの。
And then she explained to me that nobody on 7th floor stayed here from initial hospitalization all the way until death. While there was zero possibility of being cured, you were sent home if your condition was stable. But if it worsened again, you would be returned here. That cycle ended only in death. Whether it was at home or here on 7th floor, always one of the two, you were going to die. No way to escape it seemed. And with that meeting, per meeting her every word, she informed me that this was her second time up here.
じゃあ一度しか言わないから、ここからはよく聞いて。
She continued speaking, all the while staring at the blank TV screen. This wasn't idle chit-chat about when lights out was or where the kitchen was or anything like that. This was something completely different. The third time you are discharged home, resign yourself. There won't be a fourth time. You will never go home again. If you ever want to escape, head toward the B station, not the A station. Eat nothing. That is the simplest shortcut. You leave the smallest burden on your family that way. It was as if she was packed to the brim with matters like those. This was probably an oral tradition, relevant only to those who are going to die. and kept by those who came here for that purpose. So is this the duty that you were talking about?
ええ、そうよ。いつかあなたも初めて来た人には伝えてね。
With those words, she slowly stood up. She casually tossed her long hair, and it grazed my nose.
じゃあ、検温の時間だから。
Then she turned her back and started walking down the corridor. Now completely deserted save for me, the lounge held only the laughter from the TV and the white flowers by the windowsill. In the end, she didn't even look at me once. Protagonist, January 10, 2005, 7th floor. A few days later. Okay. I guess I'll be ending it for now. So let me know how this Let me know how this video goes. When to improve it, and so on. So hope you guys enjoy this. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you later. And I'll see if I can improve my voice for this narration. See ya.